All right, so now what we decided we're going to do is we're going to add another link at the bottom of this page that will allow us to jump right up quickly to the top of the page. So what I'm going to do here is come down after my paragraph that is visit my website, and actually I could do one of two things. I could either add a new paragraph, or I could just inside of the same paragraph I could come here and I could type like a pipe or something. A pipe, by the way, is just a character that is if you hold down the shift key and you use the key that's above your return key on your keyboard, it's that straight up and down character, and that is oftentimes used to separate you know, links on a page. So I'm going to just use a pipe and keep this in the same paragraph, and I'm going to make another anchor tag, ahref equals, and then this time I'm going to leave off the target because it is a default behavior on a link for it to open in the same window. And the only reason that we use target up above, like up here, or I should say up here, is because we didn't want it to open in the same window. So I'm not going to add a target here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put in between the A tags, I'm going to put the name of the link that you're going to see on the page. So we're going to say go back to top or something like that of page. And I need to spell back correctly. It has a C in it. All right, go back to top of page, or top, or whatever. It doesn't matter what you want to put there. Now, what do we put for the value of the href? What we can do is scroll up here. Let's see, what did we name our banner? We're going to want to jump right up here to the banner. We called it ID. What you can do in a single web page is you can make an anchor that references an ID of something, and it'll jump to that place whenever it's clicked. So I'm going to copy this word banner, and I'm going to go down to my link at the bottom, and that's going to be the value. Now I can't just put banner here. All right, I can't just do this. That's not going to work. What I have to do first, anytime you're going to link to a named anchor inside of your page, is you have to start it with a pound symbol or a hashtag. Okay, so you'd put hash and then banner, and then it knows, oh, okay, look inside of the same document. The hashtag, whenever you put that inside of an href value in an HTML document, what it does is it knows to refresh the same page or to go somewhere on that same page. Okay, and then if you have the name of the ID coming after it, then it knows to go to the same page and find that ID and jump to that. Okay, so let's save that, and we'll come back over here, and I'm going to refresh the page, and you see now I've got a new link that pops up that says go back to top of page. If I click on it, it takes me up here to that invisible place that is the top of my banner, which is, you know, way up here. Okay, and that's literally the first thing that we encounter on the page. So that's pretty cool. All right, now the other thing that we can do too that would be nice is if we have some links at the very top of the page that allow us to jump straight down to the main articles within this page. And the other thing that it does, it also sort of acts in a way like a table of contents. So let's say that we want to be able to go to a little bit about me, that section or that article. We also want to be able to go to the one that's my goals, and then the one that is, I think, miscellaneous stuff right here. Okay, so to do that, we need to, first of all, we need to do something like what we've done up here where we have an ID equals banner. Now that we know we're actually going to be able to jump to those things, or that we want to be able to jump to those things, we need to go and create IDs on those articles. So we've got section content, and the first article is the one that starts off a little bit about me. So let's say article has an ID of about. Okay, so that one's going to be called about. And if you wanted to be really clear, you could also even come down and you could put another comment so that the browser doesn't read it, but that we can see it really easily. And we can say about me or something like that, okay? Article. And if you want to be really specific, let's just say about article, and then that way it's actually the same. And then I'm going to highlight that, and remember Control 3, even on a Mac it's the Control key, it's not Command like normal. All right, and then it says that's the about article, and so that we know that that's starting. And then if I copy this, I can come down here, and this one is going to be goals. Okay, and then we'll give this an ID of goals. And then we can do the same thing, come down to the miscellaneous article, and then we'll call this, I'll just do a short for MISC for miscellaneous, and I'm going to, for the article, call it ID equals MISC for short, okay? And then that way, now whenever we make links that jump to that, it'll jump straight there. So as we discussed, what we decided that we wanted is to place the links up in the top so that we can jump downwards. So if you look here in the banner, this is sort of an ideal place. So first, inside of the banner section, we have an article. And then below that, it might be nice for us to put our navigation section here. And there's actually a tag in HTML5 that specifically allows for navigation, and that is called nav. And again, that is semantic. All right, so inside of nav, what we would probably want is to have a list for those 3 links. So let's do that real quick. Let's go ahead and make actually, let's do a list, not just A tags. So if we do an unordered list, let's put list item 1, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and put the basic default anchor information. So we'll say href equals, and then I'll also go ahead and put a pound symbol here because this is the basic anatomy that they're all going to have. And so I'm going to, just so it's easy to see where the word is supposed to go, I'm going to say about me like this, and then I'm going to copy this whole list item, and I'm going to just paste it a couple more times. So the first one, we're going to go after this hashtag and we're going to say about. And then for the second one, we're going to change the name of it, and it's going to be my goals. And then we decided that that named anchor was goals. And then miscellaneous down below was MISC. So then we have to go here and change about me to miscellaneous stuff. Okay, let's save that. And let's come back over here and hit refresh. And then you see we've got these 3 links here, and if we click on my goals, it jumps straight to my goals. And then you can use the back button. If I hit about me, it jumps a little bit about me. Okay, it jumps there. Miscellaneous stuff jumps. Okay, and look what it does. It goes to my goals, which might confuse you, but the reality is that it's really jumping to miscellaneous stuff. It's just that the page is ended. So it can only go as far as the page goes. So if we wanted to test this by making this a little bit thinner, a little bit narrower, okay, and then we go to miscellaneous stuff, you see that it actually goes down further. And if the page was really long, it would jump directly to this line, okay? So don't let that confuse you. Now, one thing that we haven't really talked about very much, and I'd like to talk about it, is I'm going to make this bigger, is how you can inspect a document. So right now, we've got this document, and there's a lot of stuff about it that we kind of can't see. I'm in Google Chrome, and that is what I typically use for development. You are welcome to use Safari or Firefox, but my demos are going to be in Chrome. And I'm going to show you how to use this thing called the inspector. And what you can do in Chrome, and this is by default, you don't have to enable anything. I'm going to right click. Let's say that we want to right click a little bit about me. Let's right click that. and then you see where it says Inspect Element. What it will do is it'll pop up the Google Chrome Inspector. And it looks, at first, it's like sort of a little bit terrifying. It's very confusing to look at. But what it is really a wealth of information. Yours might open in a new window. It might open up on the right side. Here, I'm going to just make that go away, and I'll make this go away as well. All right. And it's a wealth of information. And if you want to orient this the way that I have mine oriented, there should be like a little box over here that has, it looks like sort of like a sideline. If you want to make it go to the right, you can click that. If you want to make it go to the bottom, you click bottom. All right. If you want to make it go into a new window, you can click and hold and have it go undock. All right. You see that it said undock. And then if you want to have it, oh, mine popped off the page. And then if you want to make it dock again, you just click that again. Okay, so that's how you can move the inspector around, and you will want to move it around depending on whether or not you are trying to look at a window that's narrow or tall or whatever. So right now, what I want to show you is when I clicked on a little bit about me, I right-clicked and said Inspect Element. What it did down here is that it allowed me to see the HTML that it's rendering. Okay, and if I select in this HTML section, if I select that H2, a little bit about me, you notice up above, up here, what it's doing is that it's highlighting it in blue, and then in orange it's showing me the amount of space that is the margin. And the way that you can know how these things are color coded is that you, over on the right side, you can come down here and you can look at the way that it's rendering out this thing called the box model. We haven't talked about paddings and margins and borders and all that just yet. Okay, we're going to get to that in our next assignment. But I just want to show you that you can start to use this to look at stuff and see what's going on. And the reason also that I wanted to show you is that those anchor links were kind of invisible to us. But you can see here that it actually does say article, and then it says ID equals about. All right. The other thing that you'll notice is that on the right side, and again, we'll talk about this in the next assignment, is that it shows you some styles that are being rendered. But don't worry about all of that right now. Right now, I just want you to kind of look and see and notice that you can actually see and read all of the HTML just like that. And I'm not going to go into all of what these things are either right now. The other thing that you could do, and we'll get to this again later, is you can click on this little mobile phone icon, and then it'll show you, on different sizes of your devices what stuff would look like. To get out of that, you click on the mobile phone again, and it goes back to the normal view. And if you want to jump up and look at something else, like let's look at this picture, I'll right-click and say Inspect Element, and it'll jump straight there in the HTML for me. And the other thing that's kind of cool is if I right-click this image in the HTML view right here, and I say Edit as HTML, I can temporarily modify this picture and information about it to see what would happen like if I changed the name. Let's say that I changed the name to Lee, okay? And then I click off of it somewhere, double click actually, and then I go back to that image file, and you notice what happens up here is that it gives me the alt text, the alternative text. It's showing me what that picture is supposed to be, and you see that this alt text up here matches the alt text that's down here. And the reason is because I don't have a picture called lee.png in my images folder. And what a lot of times students will do is they make the wrong pathways to their images and they don't show up. So if you see something that looks like this, like a little broken link, then what you need to do, or what you can do if you're not sure how to write the pathway, is you can come down here and just temporarily change it. Now this doesn't permanently change the actual real document, it's just doing this temporarily. So like you could explore and say, okay, well maybe you just put me.png and that's not working. Okay, well, what if I were to right click this then and try to put like, okay, images, or the word, maybe you did image, but the folder name is images. You can test and you can see if it's right, and then it'll if it's right, it'll actually show up if that file really is there. And once you refresh the page, it goes back to the saved form. All right, so this is the way that your stuff should look.